So, now, the fact that I'm not doing PowerPoint things and that I do have historically shown certain data does not mean the data that I've shown is not important. And I do want to share a little bit of that data with you verbally. At this time of year, I can share the new KPI results that have only come out within the last few weeks, actually. And I want to share some of that with you because one of the most important for a college is the extent to which our graduates are able to get employment after graduation. And you may know that that is measured 6 months after they graduate. So what we are getting now is the results of those who graduated last June and how many of them were employed 6 months after they graduated. Now, for the 14 years that I've been president of Fanshawe College, that number has equal or exceeded 90% always. But in 1982, which was the deepest recession that I lived through, some of you disgustingly didn't, but a number of you in the room did, Fanshawe's graduate employment rate that year dropped to 80%, which is the lowest number I've seen in 40 years at Fanshawe College since we've been measuring. So the real interesting thing, and my message at graduation last June to the graduates was, that's what happened, and 80% isn't bad. We're in the teeth of a recession. You can do better. Well, they did. And the number of Fanshawe College graduates who were placed in employment within 6 months of graduation last June was 86.5%, which is pretty darn good. Right in the teeth of that recession and right in the center of it. It's almost like London has been the focus. The unemployment rate in London rose to the highest in the country right at the peak of that recession. So that's really good. Some of the other data continues to be excellent. Employer satisfaction, 92% satisfied or completely satisfied. Student satisfaction still at 80% and above provincial averages, and those things are all quite important. There's another interesting one, though, that we have been working on, and most of you will know this, for the last 7 or 8 years, and it's called working on our student success strategy or initiative, to try and have a greater proportion of our students be successful in terms of their graduation when they come to Fanshawe, without lowering the standards required for them to graduate, and without just skimming as well. Let's just take those. I mean, universities are proud of the fact that they won't take anybody with less than 85%. We don't do that, so it makes it harder for us. But those of you who have been tracking this along over the last 7 or 8 years, as we've been working on that initiative, know that in the first 4 years, nothing happened, and our average graduation rate was between 55 and 59% overall. All programs averaged together, 55 to 59% of the students in those programs ultimately graduated. So in 4 years, it still didn't change, and we were emphasizing student success, but then it did, and it went up to 61%. That was 3 years ago. And then 2 years ago, it went up to 63%. And then a year ago, that's the figures of a year ago, which would have been for the year before that, it went to 64%. So that was looking like a trend, but I thought, I was nervous about that. 70-ish is about as high as it seems to get anywhere. How high can you go? And had we hit the top, and were we going to go down? So the new results came out, and it was the graduation rate for those graduating a year ago, 68.5%. Quite amazing. We're now we have moved from being in the bottom quartile in the college system. Now we're up in the top quartile. And we have not, and I know you have not, lowered the standards required for graduation. Because in fact, during that time period, we increased the standard required for graduation. We made it necessary not only for students to pass every single course in their program, which was always a requirement, but in fact, in addition, to achieve a cumulative grade point average of 2.0 or better. That's a C average. So if you had even one D, you didn't offset that with a B. You had to upgrade that D to a C. And we did that in the middle of that period. So all of those graduating in this 68.5% not only passed every course, but achieved a GPA of 2.0 or better. So that's really good news and really good results. So that's why we decided to save all the money it would have cost to make a PowerPoint presentation and provide cupcakes and this lavish lunch here. So anybody who didn't get that on your way in, make sure you get it on your way out.